What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer, and welcome back to the Overwatch PTR, where we have a bit of a follow-up to the video I made 2 days ago, talking about how there were some pretty radical lighting changes made to the Paris map. Now, I'll show a quick screenshot here to summarize it. If you want to see me exploring the new lighting on the map that used to be on the PTR, I'll have a link to my original video up in the cards on screen. But basically, the lighting on Paris was radically changed to look much darker, much more like it was closer to sunset. The shadows were a lot darker. It was a tremendously different lighting effect going on, and there was a good bit of speculation about what could have been going on with that. Of course, I said that there's a good chance it's indicating archives, based on what we saw happen to King's Row 2 years ago prior to the Uprising event that year. Anyways, so there was just recently another quick small update to the PTR. It added a few bug fixes with like the new Reaper abilities and whatnot, but additionally, they fixed the lighting on Paris. Now, this, again, could possibly have a couple different explanations. So first up, assuming that this has nothing to do with archives, it could be that Blizzard somehow messed up the lighting a little bit, and they're like, okay, let's just fix it, and that's why now, in this most recent PTR update, it's back to normal. Sure, that seems well and fair. If they break something, I certainly hope they would fix it as soon as possible. Now, here's the contradiction to that. There has been no mention of the Paris map or any sort of lighting changes for it in either the PTR patch notes for this version that just came out a couple hours ago, or the one which came out on Monday, 2 days ago. Why would Blizzard not document any sort of changes? If there's a bug for the lighting, certainly they would have listed that and said, oh, there was a bug with the lighting on Paris, we've now gone and fixed that, so it's back to normal, back to what you're used to seeing. No, there was no mention of that. No mention of Paris having undergone any changes at all in the bugs that they had fixed. So Blizzard seems to be intentionally keeping very silent about everything happening on Paris. That's a pretty big red flag, if you ask me. In addition to everything I talked about in my previous video, this fact that they made no mention of it, they didn't talk about it on the forums at all. There are plenty of people discussing the lighting changes, as well as other bugs and the changes on the PTR in general, and the devs, of course, were giving feedback. Oh, thank you for letting us know that you couldn't log into the PTR. Thank you for letting us know about this bug. We'll be getting on fixing that. They had no comment regarding Paris and the lighting changes. They didn't say anything. They were strangely silent about it. If there was any suspicion about whether or not there was something strange going on with the lighting changes we saw a couple days ago, I think now it's guaranteed that something is going on. Maybe it has nothing to do with archives. It's possible that archives is going to be something completely different, has nothing to do with Paris. But what I do know is Blizzard very specifically and very intentionally made a change to the Paris map, specifically the lighting on the Paris map, and made no mention of it in the patch notes. They didn't talk about it, they didn't acknowledge it whatsoever, even when they went through all the effort to revert the change. They made no mention of the change ever having happened in the first place. Keep in mind, the lighting on maps is not just a slider that they can just go, oh, 0 is pitch black, and then 10 is, oh, super bright midday. It's not like that. They individually go to every single map and adjust the lighting on every inch of the map itself to make it look as good as it does. It's not just something that they can just adjust a single variable to switch up whether it's daytime or nighttime. It actually takes a lot of work to adjust the map's lighting and set it just right. Given how good the changes were on the previous version we saw, there was no way that was just a bug causing things to be darker. That was a very intentional change on Blizzard's part, where they deliberately went in and fixed what the lighting looked like. Now, at the time, you could argue maybe they just wanted to switch up what Paris looked like in general. Maybe the standard assault map was just going to have the lighting we saw a couple days ago, and that was a decision on Blizzard's part because for whatever reason, they just didn't like how the lighting was on the live servers. And that's a fair speculation to make, but why would they then go and specifically revert it, all without ever saying anything about them having done so? That is just too big of a red flag for me to overlook, and I'm still thoroughly convinced this has to do with archives, but if it doesn't have to do with archives, it has something to do with something, because you don't just go in and change the lighting of a map and then just let it be. It's simply not that simple. Now, there was one other thing which I did real quickly just want to address. We have these Paris tour boats out here, and I got a lot of comments from people saying that these boats were on the PTR, but not on the live servers. These boats have always been here. You can go back and check any videos from when Paris first was on the PTR. These boats have always been here. It is dependent on your graphics setting. If you have low graphics settings, they won't be showing up, and that is likely why you haven't been seeing them on live servers, but do see them on PTR. If your settings are different between the two, that could explain what's going on. So just to debunk the speculation that I've seen a lot of people bring up that these boats are something new, they're not. They're very cool looking. I do like having these tour boats out on the river. I think they look very nice, but they are nothing new. They've been there the whole time. So while these Paris boats might not have anything to do with anything, at least for the time being, I do still think, just simply because of the lighting changes and how Blizzard has handled them, there's an incredibly good chance that something suspicious is in fact going on the PTR, and that suspicious thing is most likely the 2019 Archives event. So, as always, thank you all so much for watching, and let me know your thoughts on this. Did Blizzard's reversion of these lighting changes perhaps change your mind on whether or not this is really indicating that Archives is going to have to do with Paris, or just what are your thoughts in general? I always love to hear your feedback, so be sure to leave that in the comments down below. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and share with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit up the bell to never miss any of my future Overwatch content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.